Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be solving this puzzle called zipped. Here we'll be using something called zip function, and we'll learn how to apply it. Okay, so here you can see the description. This function returns a list of tuples. Ith tuple contains the ith element from each argument, sequences or iterables. What this means is, here you can see the example. Here it is printing zip, right? Zip function, it takes two argument. You can see it is separated by comma, this comma. So this is one argument and this is another argument, right? This whole thing with inverted comma, this is another argument. So this is what it means by argument sequences or iterables. Now what it does is, zip, what it does is, this will return a list of tuples. Ith tuple will contain ith element. You can see here, this is your elements. Okay, so first element of this guy, first element of this guy made a tuple and it is put into a list. Okay, list of tuples, you can see. So it's a list with different tuples. This is one tuple, this is another tuple, third tuple. So ith tuple will contain ith element from each argument. So first element of first argument and first element of second argument is taken together and made a tuple and stored it in a list. You can see. Similarly, second guy, this second element of first argument, second element of second argument, together it constitute a tuple and it was stored in list. Okay, you can see that. So list of tuple it is making. Tuple is you can see they are a group of different element types, right? Group together. That is called tuple. We have seen that before. Similarly, 3C, 4K, 5E, 6R. Okay, this is what the meaning of this line, first line, this whole thing. Second line, you can see that if the argument sequences are of unequal lengths, then the returned list is truncated to the length of the shortest argument sequence. If they are unequal length, you can see in second example, this guy and this guy, the arguments are of different lengths, unequal lengths. Then in that case, what zip will do is, it will return a list which is truncated to a length of shortest argument. Shortest argument is this guy. So corresponding to this, it will make the tuple. So 1 0, this one and this 0, then 2 9, 3 8, 4 7, 5 6, 6 5, right? You can see this is whole thing is a list. So that is what zip means. If you want to go and in details, then you can follow the doc of Python, and there you can follow. Okay, let's go back. Here there is one example which we'll be using in this problem, this one, which you should get it. So if I'll write this, let me take this. So what will happen if you have a list called A, B and C with these numbers, and you perform this line A concatenated with B concatenated with C and store it into X, and then you will apply zip to it. This is what you will get. Okay, so 1 6 7 will be one tuple, 2 5 8 will be one tuple, 3 4 9 will be one tuple. You can see that. Let's do it so that you will get a better feel. Let me copy the code here. Okay, so this is what we had. Okay, and this, remove this and this. Okay, so ABC you have like this, X is like this. Let me print X so that you will see how it looks. Print X as well, and print zip. There is the format. Let me run the code. So you can see that here you can see this value X you have to see. X is what now? You can see this concatenated with B concatenated with C, and it made a list, a new list. This is the value of X, and here you can see it is not printing the zip output. So for that, what you have to do is convert into list. It just shows the status whether list is being created. So to see the inside content, you have to convert into list form. Now you can see X and zip text. So you can see you had X like this, this and this. Now it is converted into tuples. This 167, 167, then 2, 5, 8 and 3, 4, 9, right? So this is the just a example I wanted to show you how it looks. This will be using. Now let's go to what is the task. So this is all about zip. Now let's see what is that our task. A national university conducts an examination of n students in x subjects. So you can imagine your classroom of n students, 60, 50 students, and you are going for subjects, 6 subjects, 5 subjects examination. Okay, so what is our task? We have to calculate the average scores of each student we have to calculate. So what do we have to do? Average score is equal to sum of score obtained in all subject by a single student. What is the sum of scores he or she got in all subjects divided by total number of subjects. Okay, subjects is X, you can see. This is the format of mark sheet we will be given with. So student ID, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the subjects 1, 2, 3. This is what they got. Student 1 got 89, 90 and 91 in subject 1, 2 and 3. Similarly, student 2 got 90 in subject 1, 91 in subject 2, 92 in subject 3. That's how you can think of it. It's a float number, it's not integer. Okay, you have to see here, and then you can calculate the average. Here you can do the sum of these 3 divided by 3 because total number of subjects is 3 by this formula, and you calculate it as 90 here. Okay, so simple is it. Now you are given with the input n and x separated by space. Then you have next X line contains the space separated marks obtained by student in a particular subject. The limits are of n and x are 0 to 100. Then you have print the average of all the students on separate lines. Separate lines we have to print and corrected up to 1 decimal place. So you have to use float. Since it is 1 decimal place, you don't have to do any modification. You can just directly print it. Here you can see the sample input. 5 and 3 are values of n and x. Then from next line, subject marks we are getting for 5 students and 3 subjects you are getting the marks. Okay, and that's how you have to print the average. You can see the explanation. Student 1 got 89, 90, 91, 89, 90, 91, just like this. 89, 90, 91. Sum it, you will get 270 and divide by 3 because 3 subjects are there. So you are getting 90. You have to represent in dot 1 corrected up to 1 decimal. Okay, so this is how the explanation, all the subjects you can calculate. Now let's do the writing. I'll convert into this thing. Now let's start. So what I'll do is I'll take first the values of n and x. Here you can see. So let me take n comma x. You don't have to provide space, but it looks clean. Input dot split. Okay, but the problem is n and x will be in string form. They are integer to us, right? So let me convert into integer form. Int n. Similarly, let's take this and do it for x, right? X. Now we have the value of n and x. So let me define sub array where I'll store the subjects. Now we have these two things, right? So value of n is 5 and value of x is 3. Now we have to store these numbers. So let me write a for loop, and it will run for x times because 1, 2, 3, these are the number of subjects, right? So x is our number of subjects. So for I in range 0 to x, right? And what I'll do is I'll define a variable called ls equals, and we convert into list form all the marks they are separated by space, so we'll separate it by comma. That will be taken care by the list only, so we just have to take the input and we have to split by space. Let's see how it looks. Print ls, so that you will get a feel. You can see this is how it is looking. So first time when the loop will run, it will take this guys, then second time loop will run this guy, third time this guy, x time it is running, right? 0 1 2 like this. So here you can see we are able to collect the marks, but they are not in one, right? Means we want in one array. So let me, instead of doing this, let me comment this guy, and I'll do sub dot append. I'll append into a sub append, so that I'll have together ls. So separately we had, now we'll have together all the marks. Oops, we have not print, so print sub, right? So if you'll see, you can see first iteration you got the subject 1 marks, second iteration you got subject 1 as well as subject 2 marks, and third iteration you got subject 1, subject 2, and then subject 3 marks. Okay, so but there is one problem, they all are in string form. See, inverted commas are there, but we want them in integer float form. We don't want them in integer form, we want them in float form. You can see this value 90.5 it is, he's getting, one of the student. So before appending, I'll convert in every value into float. So ls only I'll save it, and I'll write a concatenated for loop. So I'll write the statement float, let me write floa. So let me take a variable j, and I'll run a for loop for j in ls. So for each element in ls, it will convert into float. Okay, so what will happen? So lastly, when you'll have this, it will take this value, convert into float, then this value convert into float, this value convert into float, this value convert into float, this value convert, each value. So this is what this single line is doing, right? So you might have seen this before, in before exercises we have done it. It's concatenated type of for loop. So that's what it is doing. You can put x whatever value you want instead of j here. Okay, so I hope you remember. Now if I'll print, you can see that it will not have string values. See that it is having float values. You can also do int type, but it will show error because there is one float value. Let me see. See, there is an error because of this 90.5. It's not integer, so we have to take in float form only, float. So I hope you got it. Now what else we have to do? So now we got our tuple, this guy we wanted, right? So let me print it outside now. Now you are aware of the details inside, so let me do it outside so that we'll only see the last guy, right? So this is what we have. Now you can see we have the arguments, these arguments, these kind of arguments. You can see this is first argument, second argument. Now we can use zip, right? Second argument, third argument. So we'll apply zip to this sub thing. Okay, so let me write numbers equals do I have to convert into list? Yeah, I have to convert into list as well. 1 minute, let me think. First I'll convert into zip only. First let me zip it so that we will be able to see, and then star, that's the format. Here I am following this format, star sub. Okay, and then what will happen? You can see print this, print this num and see how num looks like. But the problem is we have just zip it, so it will show the status. To look at the content, we have to convert this guy into list. Okay, list. Now if you will see, you can see the content as well. So now you can see the transition. This is your sub and this is your tuple num. Okay, tuple, group of tuple after applying zip. So you can see 89, then 90 and 91 together form a tuple. Just like here, 1 and 0 is performing, 2 and 9 is there, then 3 and 8. Similarly, it is applying in 3. So you have made your tuples now. So this is the zipped form. You have used your zip function. Now you have to calculate the average, right? So let's calculate the average. Now you have this guy. This guy 89, 90, 91 are the marks obtained by first student. 89, 90, 91. You have to take the sum of it and divide by number of subjects. So let me do a for loop again. I in what? In num? No, not num. I'll use it in range. For all the students we have to do, right? 0 to n. And then I'll print it. Print the sum of all the elements for each element I and divide it by x, right? This is what we will do. So each element I goes from 0 to n, right? So total 5 students are there. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Similarly, num will take 0, this guy, 0, 1, then 2, then 3, then the 4, last guy. So each element, it will calculate the sum. What it will do, it will take the sum of all three these things, these value elements of each tuple, and divide it by x, total number of subjects. That's what you are getting, average, right? So it's simple, you can see that. So here you can see 90, 91, 90, each time it is running, each time it is calculating the average of each student, right? And next line we have to print it. Now I'll remove these prints, it is not required now. You are aware of it, what it is doing. And then this print. Now let me put a space here so that it looks much more cleaner. Okay, so this is the output we wanted. Congratulations, let's submit it. All the test cases are passed, and then congratulations. Okay, so I'll explain it again what I've done. So initially in line 1 I've initialized I've taken the value of n and x. Since they are in a string format, in second and third line I've converted them into integer form, n and x. Then in fourth line I've initialized an array which is called sub. Then in sixth line what I did is I run a for loop. For each subject we have taken the subject marks, converted into float in 8th line, appended it in 9, and finally we have converted each means element in sub, each argument in sub into zip form and stored it into num. Okay, num will have your zipped version of sub. Then in lastly 12 and 13 we have calculated the average and printed it. Okay, so that's what the program was. Hopefully you have liked it. And here you can do the constraint if you want. I'm just leaving it. You just have to write if condition, if else condition. If this condition is met, that is fine, else stop the program, okay, or run some alert or warning thing. Similarly do it for x as well. We have done it for most of the time, so I am just skipping it. So that was the logic part. Let's go to the next question now.